ANS News Video, May 2022. The May ANS News Video edition will give you a visual capture of the Rector Major's animation visit to Thailand and a number of other activities, initiatives worldwide, and also some that honor our Blessed Mother Mary, Help of Christians. RMG World Salesian Family Council 2022. The 2022 edition of the World Council of the Salesian Family was held in Turin, Valdocco from 20th to 22nd May. It was presided over by the Rector Major. 25 world leaders from the various groups were physically present, while others participated online at a distance.
The two fundamental themes that structured the discussions were the elements of the spirituality of St. Francis de Sales that characterize the constitutions, statutes of each group, the practice of the spirituality of St. Francis de Sales in response to new poverty and emergencies.
It was indeed a wonderful moment of interaction and sharing among the different members of the Salesian family. School for Youth Ministry. The third edition of the School for Provincial Delegates of Youth Ministry took place between 4th to 18th May in Turin. 50 delegates from the Salesian world took part in this youth pastoral school. One of the main aims of this initiative was to offer an in-depth view of the Salesian educational pastoral model in line with the reference framework for Salesian youth ministry. Guidelines for other adequate competencies and key skills to animate, manage and coordinate the dynamics of the service of provincial pastoral animation were also given. It was an opportune time to foster personal growth through reflection on each one's experiences, internalization, and personal reworking of motivations in the context of Salesian charismatic identity that springs from the heart of Valdocco. Recognition of the Venerable Andrea Beltrami. It is another moment of joy for us to note that on the 17th of May in Omegna, Piedmont, the canonical recognition of the mortal remains of the venerable young Salesian priest Andrea Beltrami took place. He had lived between 1870 and 1897 and died at the age of 27 because of sickness. He received his religious habit from the hands of Don Bosco in 1886 and was ordained by Cardinal Cagliero. At the request of the postulator of the Salesian congregation, Father Pierluigi Cameroni, and after obtaining the nulla osta of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints and the Bishop of Novara, the required operations took place, assisted by the other members of the court. After the conservative treatment work, which will ensure the preservation process, the mortal remains of the Venerable Andrea Beltrami will be placed again in a new urn in the same place in the parish church, and this will facilitate the process towards the recognition of His Holiness by the Universal Church. Africa-Madagascar region. Zambia, Provincial Chapter. The 10th Provincial Chapter of the Vice Province of Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Namibia was held from the 25th to the 28th of May. The chapter was opened with a Eucharistic celebration presided over by Monsignor Alec Banda of the Archdiocese of Lusaka, who, addressing the Salesians and chapter members, urged them to comfort the young people of the peripheries. The first day of the chapter was begun with the inaugural talk by Father Krzysztof Rychik, and the chapter was moderated by Father Christopher Kunda. The chapter days were filled with a lot of discussions on the themes of the chapter, the working document, and the revision of other provincial documents such as the directory, organic plan, and formation plan. It was a moment of fraternal sharing and introspection into the life and future of the province. Africa, Congo, Provincial Chapter. The Vice Province of Mary Help of Christians, Africa, Congo, held its 2nd Provincial Chapter from 30th May to the 3rd of June 2022 at the Theophile Verbest Center, Kinshasa. 30 participants attended the chapter, and it was moderated by Father Jerry Matsumbo. The central theme of the chapter was, "What kind of Salesians for the youth of the Vice Province, ACC?" The discussions and reflections were centered on the themes of GC28, the roadmap of the province, the organic provincial plan, the provincial directory, the plans and orientations of the province. The chapter facilitated a great moment of fraternity and introspection into the life and mission of the province. Kenya. Feast of Mary Help of Christians. The much-awaited solemnity of Mary Help of Christians was celebrated on a very grand scale on the 24th of May at the Shrine of Mary Help of Christians in Upper Hill, Nairobi. The celebrations began with the Eucharist, presided by Simon Asira, the provincial of the East Africa province, during which the first 3 members of Atma made their promises, and also the canonical constitution of the Association of Mary Help of Christians was done at the shrine. After Mass, the procession with the statue of Mary Help of Christians took place, during which the different groups of the Salesian family animated the recitation of the Rosary with great devotion and love to the Blessed Mother. America, South Cone Region. Chile, Provincial Chapter. The provincial chapter of the Salesians of Chile took place at the Locanas Spirituality Center between 16th to 21st May. 46 members took part in it, and Father David Albornoz, the Vice Provincial, was the moderator of the chapter. The chapter assembly was divided into groups, and they worked around the objectives, actions and activities proposed for the 6 priorities set out in the organic provincial plan. The themes discussed were spiritual and community life, formation, mission for the young, mission with the laity, provincial government and animation, and care of the environment. It was a very fruitful exchange of deep reflection and sharing on the life and mission of the province. Porto Alegre, Brazil. Provincial Chapter. The provincial chapter of St. Pius X, the Salesian province of Porto Alegre, was held on 26th and 27th of May at the retreat house of the Salesian Sisters at Porto Alegre. The chapter was moderated by Father Ademir Ricardo, and the 32 chapter members, motivated by the motto Da mihi animas cetera tolle, evaluated, discussed and defined the orientation of the mission of the province. The debates focused on the areas of action of social works, social communication, Salesian youth ministry, parishes, formation and the economer's office. Father Gilson Marcos da Silva, the provincial, urged those present to think about the future of the province and roll up their sleeves for the years to come. All those confreres who celebrated their anniversaries of religious life and priestly ordination were also felicitated. Argentina. Pilgrimage to the Shrine of Mary Help of Christians. Another impressive traditional pilgrimage to the Shrine of Mary Help of Christians in the city of Rio Grande was that from the 3 Salesian houses of Rio Grande, Maria Auxiliadora, La Mission and Don Bosco. The Salesians, the laity and the youth gathered together and walked together this pilgrimage of 13 kilometers, accompanied by the rhythm of songs in an atmosphere of youthful joy and celebration, carrying the statue of Mary Help of Christians. The celebration was very simple and profound, and everyone felt that this pilgrimage was a blessing to meet again after 2 years of break because of the pandemic. As a gesture of blessing, on the arrival at the shrine, the students received a souvenir of the Blessed Mother to accompany them in their life's journey. East Asia Oceania region. Spiritual exercises for the provincial councils of East Asia Oceania region. The provincials of all the 8 Salesian provinces, 4 vice provinces and 5 delegations of the EAO of the East Asia Oceania region with the members of their councils had their spiritual exercises from the 7th to the 12th of May at the Salesian Retreat House in Hua Hin, Thailand. Nearly 73 confreres, together with the regional councillor, Father Joseph Fook, participated in the retreat. Father Rector Major, Father Angel Fernandez Artime, animated the confreres through his talks, moments of dialogue and meetings. The retreat days were lived with a great sense of fraternity and shared spirituality, though there were confreres from 22 countries, coming from 6 time zones, and also with a lot of cultural and linguistic variety. The 6 days of spiritual renewal rekindled a great sense of joy, thanksgiving to live the Salesian spirituality, and everyone experienced the closeness of the 10th successor of Don Bosco. Rector Major's animation visit to Thailand. The Rector Major's animation visit to Thailand from the 13th to the 19th of May proceeded with great enthusiasm among the Salesians, youth and people of Thailand. Accompanied by the provincial Father Deparat Pitisant and Father Joseph Fook, the regional councillor, the 6 days visit was filled with lots of blessings, meetings, visits and interaction and celebration of the Eucharist. The Salesian Bishop of Surat Thani, Monsignor Joseph Pradhan Sridharunsil, was also present on various occasions and celebrations during the visit. During the visit, the Rector Major also visited the confreres working in the various dioceses, all the members of the Salesian family. The first profession of the 10 novices from the Salesian provinces of Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos in the presence of the Rector Major on the 13th February was also a memorable moment. The Rector Major met the young people in every institution and interacted with them with paternal affection. His words to the young people: Don Bosco is your home and you too have a future. And the words to the Salesians: always remember that your work is a work of proclamation of the good news to the marginalized, will continue to echo for some time and guide the Salesian family of Thailand. Australia, Provincial Chapter. The 22nd Provincial Chapter of the Salesian Province of Australia was held from the 20th to the 24th of May at the Catholic Leadership Centre in East Melbourne. The chapter was moderated by Father Chris Ford, and some Salesian cooperators, young animators, and the chosen confreres from the province participated in it. The FMA Provincial, Sister Louise McKeog, and Sister Delma Lamb also participated in this beautiful initiative to deepen the Salesian identity in the missions with young people. All the chapter members took an active part in the discussion and presentation of the three major themes: identity, formation, and mission, as per the guidelines of the Rector Major. Myanmar. First profession. It was a moment of joy for the Vice Province of Myanmar as 6 young Salesians made their first profession on the 23rd of May in the presence of Father Bosco Nyi Nyi, Superior of the Myanmar Visitation, and Father Mariano Soy Nai, their Novice Master. It was a very meaningful celebration with the presence of the parents and the Salesians who accompanied these young people to respond firmly with their promises and witness to God's love for the young. South Asia region. Shillong, Provincial Chapter. The province of St. John Paul II of Shillong held its provincial chapter between the 9th to 14th of May at the Pastoral Centre, Malki. The chapter was moderated by Father K.J. Anthony, and 64 members participated in the chapter. Archbishop of Shillong, Most Reverend Victor Lingdo, inaugurated the chapter, and the other special guests present on the occasion were Father Biju Michael, the Regional Councillor for South Asia, Sister Elizabeth George, the Provincial of the Salesian Sisters of the Shillong Province. What kind of Salesian for the youth of today was the theme of the chapter. And the chapter days were filled with reflections and discussions on the documents and the plans of the province. The chapter concluded with the Provincial Community Day and Jubilee celebrations of the confreres. Voices from Sri Lanka. The Salesian mission in the island of Sri Lanka began in 1956. Today, the province of Sri Lanka has 90 confreres and 19 centers offering educational and social development services for the poor youth, especially by providing humanitarian and spiritual assistance to the orphans, victims of war, victims of social evils, street kids, school dropouts, homeless, destitute, and the differently abled. Currently, this island nation is in the midst of one of the worst economic crises it has ever seen, locked up in huge debt, which has paralyzed the daily living of the people and the nation. This financial meltdown has affected the country in every way. There is an all-time high inflation which has increased the prices of all the commodities almost 5 times. Shortage of food supplies, power supply and essential commodities is a serious problem for the country, and the people are hoping that the government will soon find the right solutions for this crisis. Central and Northern Europe. Malta, Provincial Chapter. The provincial chapter of the Vice Province of Malta took place from the 29th April till the 4th of May at the Carmelite Retreat House in Sliema, Malta. The chapter was moderated by Father Robert Falzon, and 16 members took part in the chapter. During one of the sessions, several lay people co-responsible for the Salesian mission took part in a discussion on the theme of shared mission and formation. The chapter discussions followed the recommendations of the GC28 and the 8 points of the Rector Major's action program for the Salesian congregation. Austria. Meeting of Provincials of Central and Northern Europe region. The meeting of the Provincials of the Central and Northern European region took place between 6th to 8th May in the Provincial House of the Province of Guardian Angels of Austria. The 2-day meeting was coordinated by the Regional Councillor by Father Roman Yakimovich, with the participation of Father Stefano Martolio, the Vicar of the Rector Major, and those responsible for structures and organizations of the Salesian Family. This meeting provided ample time for various interventions, sharing and reflection on various pertinent themes, offering new perspectives to Salesian charismatic action in Europe. The fraternal atmosphere and the hospitality of the province of Austria was very much felt by everyone. Ukraine, Mariupolis, the city of Mary under the care of the Salesians. The inauguration of the Mariupolis, the city of Mary, took place on the 19th of May in the presence of the governor of the Lviv region and military administration, Mr. Maksim Kozhisky, Mr. Andriy Sadovy, and the vice provincial of the vice province of Ukraine, Father Andriy Bodnar. This new modular city is composed of many prefabricated buildings designed to temporarily welcome those displaced by the war in Ukraine. It was set up by the municipality of Lviv in collaboration with the Salesians of Don Bosco and with the support of the Polish government. These container houses came as a gift from Poland and are equipped with bunk beds, tables and closets. Some rooms serve as dining rooms, laundry rooms, and house showers and toilets. A playground for children has also been set up on the grounds. The Salesians are providing pastoral care for the people, offering spiritual accompaniment and psychological support, and also providing food for about 350 people housed there. Thanks to all donors who have made this possible. Krakow, Poland. Savionalia, Feast of Young People. From the 6th to 8th May, in honor of the feast of Saint Dominic Savio, the Polish Krakow province organized the new edition of Savionalia, the youth festival with the theme Wake Up. Thousands of young people took part in this festival, which was filled with a number of interesting activities, tournaments, fun games, lot of talent competitions, and musical performance by various groups. Interesting to note that among the many musical troupes who performed, there was the musical group of Salesian clerics from the Theologate of Krakow, and also the Christian rapper Arcadio, who was famous for his transmission of gospel values and faith through his lyrics. The young people had also ample opportunities for prayer, ensuring that the spiritual dimension was well taken care of. The festival concluded with the Mass on 8th May, during which the volunteers of the Salesian Missionary Volunteer Service received missionary crosses before leaving for the various countries to announce the good news. Inter-America region. Venezuela. Visit of the Vicar of the Rector Major. From 15th to 26th May, the Vicar of the Rector Major,
Father Stefano Martolio,
made his visit of animation to the San Luca province of Venezuela. During this trip,
Father Stefano
visited the presence of
Carcas,
Los Teques and Valencia, where he got to know the confreres, the scholastic works, the network of Don Bosco houses, the work formation centers, the Salesian Family, the Salesian Youth Movement, the Salesians in Formation, and the FMA. One of the most significant events of his visit was the meeting at the Don Bosco Youth Center in Boleta. The event was attended by 400 young people from oratories all over the country who welcomed him with great joy. The visit concluded with the celebration of the Solemnity of Mary Help of Christians in the Church of Don Bosco in Altamira. Dominican Republic, Provincial Chapter. The 22nd Provincial Chapter of the Province of
the Antilles
took place between 9th to 14th May 2022 at the Pinar Quemado Salesian Center for Promotion and Spirituality. 42 chapter members representing all Salesian presences in Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico took part in the chapter, and it was moderated by Father William Batista. The provincial Father Jose Pastor Ramirez, while presenting the state of the province, affirmed that it was a healthy and committed province with challenges to achieve, and exhorted everyone to participate in a spirit of fraternity, discernment, listening, and vision. It was truly a moment of deep sharing and reflection to dream as sons of Don Bosco. El Salvador Provincial Chapter. The provincial chapter of the Salesian province of Central America took place between 2nd to 7th May at the Sacred Heart of Jesus Retreat House, Ayagualo, with the theme, What Kind of Salesians for the Youth of Today? 48 members participated in the chapter and it was moderated by Father Mariano Miranda. The chapter members reflected on the themes proposed by GC28 and to deepen and implement the 8 programmatic lines of the Rector Major for the Salesian congregation after GC28. The chapter days witnessed profound moments of dialogue, reflection and discernment, during which several guidelines for the province of Central America for the coming years were also discussed. Mediterranean region. Italy. Feast of Mary Help of Christians, Turin. This year, the Feast of Mary Help of Christians at Valdoco, Turin, was celebrated solemnly after 2 years of pause because of the pandemic. In fact, the city of Don Bosco gathered once again with full vibrance under the mantle of Mary Help of Christians to celebrate and honor her. The Novena days were marked with good preparation and sharing of testimonies. The feast day had a number of spiritual moments to cherish, and the presence of the Rector Major during the days of the Triduum was indeed a great blessing. In the solemn Mass celebrated on the feast day, the Rector Major conveyed the greetings of the Holy Father, who had expressed his wishes and sent the greetings to him. The traditional procession through the streets of Turin with the statue of our Blessed Mother took place with a huge participation of devotees and pilgrims from various institutions and villages nearby Turin. As per tradition, the banners of the various groups, schools, associations and movements paraded along the route, leading the 2-hour-long procession led by the Archbishop Emeritus of Turin, Monsignor Cesare Nocilia. Hundreds of sisters, religious and diocesan priests and thousands of laity participated in the procession, praying the Rosary and singing the praises of Mary, which concluded with the solemn blessing of Mary Help of Christians. Rome. Inauguration of the National Center for Salesian Works. On Saturday, 28th May, in the premises of the Salesian Works at Pius XI in Rome, Father Angel Fernandez Artime inaugurated the new headquarters of the National Center for Salesian Works. This event brought together many Salesian personalities, which included Sister Chiara Cazzuola, the Mother General of the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians, FMA, accompanied by Sister Paola Battagliola, Visiting Counselor, and the FMA Provincial of the Roman Province, The presence of the other general councillors, Father Miguel Angel Garcia Morquende and Father Gildasio Mendes, the provincials of the Italian provinces, several authorities of the Salesian Pontifical University, together with the invited guests, collaborators and other confreres, made the inauguration very memorable. The whole project was coordinated by Father Roberto Dal Molin, President of the National Center for Salesian Works, together with his collaborators. All the visitors were offered a detailed tour to the new national offices comprising the various dimensions. The Rector Major blessed the new edifice and appreciated the efforts of the national team and wished them a lot of growth and blessings in realizing their goals. Spain, an exhibition with stories of Ukraine. The Museum of Misiones Salesianas in Madrid inaugurated on 19th May a photo exhibition titled Life in a Suitcase, Stories of an Armed Conflict, reflecting on the consequences of the war in Ukraine for the displaced population inside and outside its borders. The exhibition is by three of its authors, Olmo Calvo, Edu Leon, and Bruno Thevenin. The 56 images in the exhibition deal with the biggest humanitarian crisis in Europe since the Second World War, offering different perspectives on a conflict that is still not over.
Mariano Garcia,
the museum coordinator, explained that the exhibition, as a sort of photojournalism, could easily convey the message to the audience. Everyone left with the provoking question, what would you take with you that would fit in your suitcase if you had to leave your country? Turin, meeting with the Salesian novices of Europe. From 20th to the 25th of May, the meeting of the European novices took place at the Sacro Cuore Novitiate at Colle Don Bosco. a total of 21 novices from the novitiates of Genzano, Italy, Kopieg, Poland, and Poprad, Slovakia, took part in the meeting together with 10 formators. It was a wonderful moment of sharing, listening, and growth, carried out with the typical Salesian cheerfulness. During these days, the novices had a variety of activities which included visit to the places of Don Bosco's childhood, visit to the work of Michael Rua in Turin, and finally also the participation in the Feast of Mary Help of Christians at Valdoco. The meeting with the rector major also created in them a great sense of familiarity and confidence and gave them lots of insights for the mission. Portugal, Feast of the Young. On 21st May in Fatima, on the occasion of the National Day of the Salesian Youth Movement, SIM, the organization World Youth Day Don Bosco 23 was officially presented. The presentation took place at the end of Art and Faith, the party that concluded the MGS Day celebrations and brought together 1,500 young people and members of the Salesian family. João Xavier Fialho, coordinator of World Youth Day Don Bosco 23, announced some initiatives and dates already underway. For example, he explained that World Youth Day Don Bosco 23 is the name of the MGS organization in charge of inviting young people from the various Salesian environments around the world to attend World Youth Day 2023 in Lisbon. Cole Don Bosco, Festival of School Children. On 20th May, Cole Don Bosco witnessed a joyful and vibrant crowd of the middle school children hailing from the secondary schools of Piedmont and Valle d'Aosta. Nearly 3,000 people participated in this festival, of which there were 2,600 school children, 130 animators, and several young Salesians, pre-novices and university students who had come to animate the school children. The children feasted in the 55 stands with a variety of games offered to them, and each group also had the opportunity for guided prayer in the Basilica for 15 minutes. It was a much-awaited and welcome moment for the young people who were thrilled at meeting each other and engaged themselves actively in some fun-filled activity. The boys were invited to be a good cloth like Dominic Savio trying to reflect on what their tailors are, thanks to which they can be at the disposal of others and do good to all. Dear friends, that's what we have for you now in this May edition of ANS News Video. Share your news, events and stories and make it known to the rest of the world. We will catch up with more news for the June edition. Thank you.